Good morning and welcome to Life and Style here on KTN, your home channel. This is Pastor Chris Atemo, ready to host you on Mandate with the men. You know, we do the drill like that. The men come in and we talk about matters, relationship with them. Then we get the views of the ladies on what is called retake. And already the ladies are here with Crystal Okusa. Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning. I was just having a discussion with them, trying to understand how we're going to demystify this love language story. I don't know if
Right.
we ever really understand it in the first place.
Yeah, because today we're talking love languages and understanding the various different love languages of different people. How are you ladies? How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
All right.
Shiveska said that she actually knows more of her love language with her partner. She knows that she always, like, she never gets it wrong. And she
Okay.
says it in the beginning of the relationship. She says what she expects so that there's no guesswork here when it comes to love language. But she tell us more when it comes to retake.
All right. You know how we go about it. The KTN Life and Style, that's our hashtag. So the conversation goes on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Remember to use the hashtag KTN Life and Style. Follow us on our social media platforms at KTN Life_Style for Instagram and Twitter, KTN Life and Style for Facebook. 22840 is our text message number. I'm joined here with the gentleman on Mandate. Welcome to Mandate. And I'm going to get right from my farthest end right there. Please introduce yourself,
My name is Michael Hateli.
Michael.
Yes, I'm a photographer.
Okay.
I'm married for 1 month, 3 days. Still learning the love language.
Talking about marriage, tomorrow is my wife's birthday, and let me do this right from here. Happy birthday, babe. All right. The gentleman in the middle.
Thank you. My name is George Murichu.
Okay.
Serve as a pastor in Sita Moodley.
All right.
And I'm married to a beautiful lady called Patricia.
Okay.
Yes.
And I am told that Patricia is...
She's around.
She's around.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll get to meet Patricia later.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
My name is Stephen Weganjo.
All right.
I'm an evangelist and also a media personality.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So how do you get to understand or define or satisfy the various love languages? Let me begin with George.
I think we should start with definition.
Okay.
I am bilingual, so I speak English and I speak Swahili, and mother tongue comes later on.
Okay.
So when we talk about love languages, I'm thinking about the 5 major love languages: acts of service, there's gifts, there's words of affirmation, there's physical touch, and the last one is escaping my mind. Should be something about
Quality time.
quality time.
Right.
Yeah, so if I'm to define, that's what I'm looking at, those 5 major love languages, how we express our love to our partner.
But have we, I know that somebody, Gary Chapman, wrote something on love languages. Have we kind of boxed ourselves to his thought? Could there be more love languages?
I tend to feel so. Though the 5 highlight the main loud, the ones that are outspoken, that are out there, but there seems to be other languages that are hidden. And you need to learn, and they're dependent on the person you're dealing with or your partner. So you need to learn the other person's needs, because the needs are different. Even the 5 love languages are not just cut out as just the 5. They have different expressions.
Okay.
So I feel like you need to learn the person you're with or your partner to know which is the best way to express their love language or to deal with them.
All right. So what's your love language? And what is the general love language for men?
I guess for me, I've been married for the past, say, 1 month. And for me, it's a learning process every day, because every day comes with a new challenge. Especially when you are dating, there are things that I used to do, like, say, communicating with her. And for me, I thought they were okay. But now when you get into marriage, you realize some of these things they won't work. You get. So for me, every day is I learn something new.
What do you mean that some things you are doing and then you get into marriage and they won't work?
I know, for instance, there are things when you get into marriage. If I could pick an example when you're communicating. When you are dating, she comes from a region where when she's talking to you, her tone of voice is really high. So you'll think she's shouting at you.
I didn't say anything.
So I learned to embrace that and learn that when she's talking to you, when she's talking to me.
Is it a region or is it a family?
Sorry?
Is it just a region or is it a family?
I think it's the region. I don't know. Maybe it's her personality.
Yeah.
But I learned for like there's a way I would react then. But when you get into marriage, you realize when she does that, I learn it's her. It's how she talks. You get, and how I respond to how she spoke to me will determine what will happen. You see, we are stuck in the same room. It's not like when you're dating where she'll leave or I'll leave. So I get to know how to respond and how to act when that happens.
Do you like that word stuck?
It's a strong word. It's a strong word.
It feels limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wanted to chip in and say it could be family of origin. The way our original families express love towards us as children, I think we carry that into our marriages. For example, in my family of origin, whenever there's a birthday, there has to be a card and there has to be a gift. So I carried over that expression of love such that I try and love my wife in that way, with a card and gifts. Yet that's really not her love language. She feels nothing for that, or she feels something very
nothing for the card and the gift.
I realized that I am the one who lights up when I get gifts. Okay. But for her, it's not as big a deal as it is for me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right. That's very interesting because there's this assumption that ladies love gifts. There's that assumption that ladies love gifts. So the first thing a man will think about is that if they will bring out a gift, the lady will be impressed,
There are boxes I think we've put people or sexes, the different sexes into. And to a question you asked earlier, what is the normal love language for most men?
For a man,
and most people will talk about acts of service. And you realize some men don't have acts of service as a gift.
Yeah.
It's not what they respond to. So you realize that even the same transfers to lady, that we think gifts will work, but gifts don't necessarily work every time for the ladies.
All right.
Yes.
So because when you're talking about that, I'm thinking most men that we talk to, they try to define their love as respect, that as long as you respect a man, there is love. Is that what you're talking about as acts of service? Is that what a man would define respect to be, or what does a man define respect to be? Because when I'm saying over here that, for a man, love means respect, and I hear that a lot of times. What does that word really mean?
Respect is I don't know that it's I don't know the word that I would say. Respect if I say I'm the head of the house, right? And that's what we are told when you're doing the vows and everything. She has to know I'm the head of the house. So whatever I say does not mean like it's the final word. Like whatever I'll say, she'll have to respect what I've said, but also her opinion as well. I'll have to respect what she says. So we have to have like a middle ground and everything. So in terms of respect is they say respect is earned.
Look, they say that men don't respond to gifts. They say that to a man, you don't have to remember his birthday, buy him a gift or whatever, but respect him. And that is the word that I want to be broken down now.
All right.
Because now there are ladies out there who will feel like I respect my man. And yet the man will still go out and say, she does not respect me. Because when the definition is not clear, then it is very difficult to measure this and see whether the person really did what you wanted. In your view?
Yes, in my view, respect is about honor.
Yeah.
It's about deferring to your husband, especially when it comes to decisions, making decisions about which way we're going to go as a family. So we'll share our views, but have the final word. That's one aspect of respect. But another picture for me in my mind is my wife's culture. In their culture, whenever they are serving their husbands, they kneel.
Yeah.
So I feel like a king because it's the Baganda culture. They honor their men in that way. They whenever
And the
they're serving the
interesting
food,
thing is that to them it's not a big deal.
it's not a big deal. But
I
for
used
us,
to go there and then I wonder, I'm asking them, why are you people subjecting yourself to this? And they say, we enjoy it. They don't feel like it's any form of belittling.
no,
To them, it's just a thing of honor. And it brings something to you, right?
it does. It does. So I'll just share one brief example.
Yeah.
Like during the traditional ceremony, they had an opportunity for me to propose in the presence of her relatives and the guests. So what they did is, usually it's the man who goes on one knee, but in that scenario, in that culture, she's the one who was kneeling down. So after that, all the Kenyans were saying, "Hey, you guy, you've scored. You're very, you're very lucky." So for me, I think the aspect of respect is more of honor. It doesn't have to be bending down and kneeling, but that sense of honor in decisions, in communication, in whatever things you're doing.
How would you, all right, go ahead.
I would also think of respect based on a personal upbringing, especially drawing back from what he's just saying. We come from different backgrounds, and respect to us was introduced in different ways. So to someone is how they are treated, to another person is how they are spoken to,
Yeah.
to another person is how people behave around them. So essentially, I would say respect is very important, especially to men, because there is the element of the ego of the man, and respect kind of massages his ego, and he feels, I am the man. Yeah. So what happens is you need to learn the person you're with to know what is the best way, or how do they want respect expressed towards them.
You know, the last week's show, we were talking about career women and strong career women.
Yes.
And when we talk about respect, how does a man who is married to a strong career woman, or who is relating with or dating a strong career woman, feel the respect?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question.
Because this is somebody, of course, we want to separate, we're talking about the separation of the relationship and the career, but then this is somebody who's used to authority, making decisions. They're not used to, in quotes, bowing down, and then they're coming in here and you're waiting for your ego to be massaged. But now they have been trained not to massage anybody's ego. How do you feel respected when you have somebody like that?
I think for me, what she does and what I do, totally different things. I work as a freelance photographer. So in terms of, say, making money, mine really varies. There are days where I'll have money, there are days I won't have money. And like for her, because she has a salary, she'll always. So in terms of, I know I have responsibilities in the house. I know I'm supposed to do this. And what we've done, we've split up the responsibilities. And I know once she has a place to stay, once she has a household, she has a place to come home and sleep. For me, I feel like if she gives me that responsibility and allows me to decide on such kind of things, I feel respected. And like in other things, when she decides what I'll eat, for me, I think that's also giving me the kind of respect I deserve.
Okay, you talked about, respect being not just things that are done, but also things that are spoken. Yes. Sometimes a woman gets to the place where she's very frustrated. She's been trying to get the attention of the man over certain things, and then she has to raise it where there are other people. What does that do to the man?
Dependent on the people let's say the forum you're in and the people you have, the reactions probably will be different. If it's a close friend, someone doesn't mind sharing their business with, the way the man will receive that is probably politely better than how he would have received this in an open forum with total strangers.
Yeah.
So you have to know what are the things you bring out and what are the things you say when you're in public and when you're in different circles of people, so that you don't end up hurting your partner. And this goes both ways, towards the man and towards the woman.
All right.
The things you shouldn't say as a man also about your wife, or your partner to friends or other general people. But there are certain groups of people who are close to you. You can share openly and discuss. So it depends with the forum where some things are said, but still some things cannot be said in either forum. You have to discuss them in the
Let's
confines
talk
of your
about
house.
quality time, because it's one of the things that men are accused of being short of providing. Quality time, like, you know, the moment they have paid the rent or they paid the bills, they remember the birthday and dropped a gift over there, passed by a school for 15 minutes or something, they feel they've done their duty. Are men good at providing quality time?
I honestly think the stereotype is true, that it's not our natural inclination. I think about visiting days, whenever parents are going for visiting days, and there's, you know, there are two contrasting pictures. One is the father is carrying a newspaper and a paper bag, drops it. The mom comes with other relatives, you know, and they spend time, there are parties, and there's, you know, all manner of meals. So I'm thinking that it may not come naturally for most men, but I think quality time is about being present. It's not just about being with someone in the same space physically. It's about being present, getting to connect with them. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? I may be in the same room with my wife, but I'm on my phone. I'm on my gadgets. You know, my phone is here, my tablet is here, the TV is on.
Is it that we don't know how to communicate? Is it that we feel like we have been boxed into that space, like I needed to be here, but I would have wanted to be doing business elsewhere, you know, making money for these people? What really happens?
I think there is that aspect where you have other things you want to do and you feel like I'm boxed into a small box where I have to be here.
Yeah.
But also, I've also seen this, especially in my experience with my wife, that I think I'm spending quality time with her because I know that is one of her love languages. And to her, that's not quality time because I'm seated down, maybe we're watching a movie and it's so engaging, I'm with you.
Yeah,
to her, quality time is switch off everything, look at her eyes, you know, speak to her, you know, something.
And that men battle, they struggle to do that. You know, they can't do that too long. But where does it get lost? Now, you've been married the youngest, you know, the shortest period. Because we seem to have a lot of things to say when we're dating.
True.
Then we get married and everything that we used to say has disappeared.
I don't know what happens, but as for me, it's just been a few months. So I'm still enjoying the feeling of being married. Ours is still. The thing is, we were friends for a long while.
Yeah.
So even when we were getting married, it was just a formality because we were friends. Only thing that changed was we never lived together in the same house. So we were in the same space. I mean, her face, she's in my face. So I'm still also enjoying. I'm still in the honeymoon phase. I don't know how it will be down the line, say 5 years from now, but I'm hoping it will be the same. I'm hoping like we'll still be able to sit down and have conversations. I'm hoping we'll have like long phone calls and everything. So at the moment, I'm enjoying every bit of it. I can't complain.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of men, they get into that place and then they really don't have too much. Too much. And they mean well. They really love it. They don't mind, you know, going out and then they'll pay all the bills, but they're not talking. And I know that sometimes that would happen even to me. We'd go out and then I'm feeling like, you know what, can I sit over there and write a book a bit? I don't know where the struggle comes in for the men. But you've spoken about a quality time, the 5 things that you did mention, and now I want to talk about the acts of service. How easy is that for men? And does that really move ladies? I know I'll talk to them later, but I just want to hear from the gentleman.
I think most men probably,
That's the easiest?
most men I know, that's the easiest to do.
Yeah.
Because that's when the guy will be like, let me take you for lunch, you know, let me do something. Those acts you're doing then.
Let me get the trash out.
But when some acts, yes, but let me take the trash out, I'll, you know, do something, maybe put the bulb or something. But then, ladies most of the time don't appreciate that. It's not close to their heart most of the time, you realize. At times they will talk.
To hear from the ladies. I can't wait. We can't be doing all of that and then that's not touching their hearts, you know. Yeah.
They feel probably it's maybe something you should be doing, but it's not communicating love as deeply as you'd want to.
That's your duty.
Yes, that's your duty, but it's not communicating love as you think it should be. So sometimes you'll find yourself where you've done a lot, then you're being told, I don't feel like you love me enough, and you're like, I thought I do. Then you're like, no, you know, those things, if they're good, you do, but that's your language.
All right.
You've not learned mine.
So if a man is dealing with, George, you're a pastor, so you deal with people in counseling. A man is dealing with a woman whose love language is touch. But then this person came from the kind of background where there is no touching at all. He's not comfortable with that at all. So how is that supposed to work?
Wow, I think the good thing about languages, any language, is that it can be learned over time.
So who
And
should learn whose language here?
I think there's just a mutual learning on both ends, recognizing that my partner's love language is different from mine, and I can be able to acquire that. You know, the way they say some tastes are acquired, I think we can actually learn. We can learn, and I'll give an example. For me, holding hands, I think I come from the very typical African home where African men are, you know, they're reserved so far as physical touch is concerned. You know, the best they can do is, how are you? That's fine. So I had to learn that because for my wife, it's a big deal, you know, so I'm still on that learning curve so far as physical touch is concerned.
All right.
So I believe anyone can learn.
Okay.
If you have a learning mindset, you can go for it.
And you know, that just brings me back again into the issue of the acts of service, like which acts of service would touch the woman? Because sometimes you see somebody saying, he doesn't help me with the baby. Especially when, now you better get this free advice from this gentleman right now, when the babies begin coming, part of your shift in the night baby duty is to carry the baby. Sometimes there's issues like carrying the baby and the diapers. Is that natural for men?
Okay, at least from my background, it's not.
Yeah.
So
But you had to learn that?
I had to really learn, and it had to take effort, you know? It had to really
Sometimes, you know,
take
there's
effort.
couples where it's like this. It's your turn now. This is the baby. And it's like, it's your turn now. I've been with the baby the whole day, and you just came in, you know.
I appreciate my wife. She's not that way.
But there's somebody watching.
She's not that way. But even in those situations, because I have friends who I interact with who have children and probably their wives are that way, they have had to learn how to talk. I think one of the ways when you can talk out some issues, you need to let your wife know, or whoever it is know, that this is not coming easy for me, so that they can also cut you some slack at some places. Because you have to learn the whole process of parenting. You're learning it doesn't come with a manual. You're learning the whole process of how do I treat the baby, how do I react to my wife, and also during that time when children come, even your wife's needs change. So there are a lot of changes that are happening. So if you can't communicate, it becomes very hard for the man. But if it is easier if you're communicating and you're saying, you know, babe, I don't like this diaper business, or, you know, I'll hold the baby for, then you get to a place where you can discuss. It becomes also easier for you even to assimilate to the role once you have talked through.
But there are those times, you know, I'll confess my sins. It's easier for my wife to feed the baby while the baby's sitting over here. For me, when the baby comes, he wants to hang around me. He wants to sit here. You serve me food, I start screaming. I'm like, can somebody take away this guy? Because I don't know how to do that. Is it an issue of, is that now an issue of multitasking? Or it's just us, you know, we want to have things easy?
I think for me, I'll speak for myself. I find it easy being around babies.
Wow.
So we've gone to places where
Is it easy for your wife also? Or
no.
So you're the one who's
so would
easier
compete for the baby's attention. Say it's a relative, for instance.
Okay.
And the baby I'd carry the baby, she would cry. I give my wife, she would cry. Then she gives back to me. So I found it easy getting along with kids.
Okay.
And also I know for her, she finds it easy. So like for us, it's like we complement each other. So I know when the babies come through, we should be sorted.
What happens where people, couples are in, you know, like you said, it's not really your thing to touch. And then you're going into a place, so you've got various people, various couples over there, and they all seem to be touchy-touchy. And it looks like there is pressure.
Yeah.
How much time should a couple give itself, if there is anything like timelines, to understand and learn each other's love language?
Wow. I think it's what the scenario you've painted is one which is really, it happens. There's a lot of pressure to keep up with the Joneses in as far as physical touch is concerned, and to portray a certain image. But I think if we're honest with one another and we're saying, I'm not very comfortable with this,
Yeah.
can we you know, just go at a slower pace? I think that can work. That can work, as opposed to trying to master the language over 1 month.
Yeah.
You know, you move from beginner to, you know, an expert in 1 month. So I think the kind of scenario you're giving is one of, you can go for those events, but you don't have to conform to the pressure. You can actually say, we're a different unit. You know, we're a different couple, and for us, we're not yet there. But let's just go at our pace.
I think for touch is something that grows. Like say,
grows.
when you started dating, for instance, maybe she'd sit there, I'd sit here. So then it's something that grows. You get like, you move closer. So as time goes, so you can give yourself timelines and say, by this has to happen. I think it grows, and if it feels like you're forcing it, I think you'd rather not do it.
But somebody might be justified in saying, look, we've been married for 7 years, and he's still not doing what he knows I like.
That's a long
So without even defining, it's not that you're going to sit down and say, by 3 years you should have mastered, but there's a place where it's called by this time.
I think it's good to put a timeline to something, but on the contrary, I would think also you have to be lenient. The levels of engagement are different.
Yeah.
So maybe he will have broken from the place where he was not doing it at all to a certain level. And you need to appreciate that before you go all the way to the end where you say, this is what I want.
Right.
So I feel like when we put a timeline, it puts pressure, and
Okay.
it puts like an element of failure if the person doesn't do that. But if you allow to growth, if you can say, I've seen you've grown in this, or I see your
motivates.
effort. You know what happens? The psyche becomes, you
There
become
is
more
gonna be
interested.
motivation.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we will continue this conversation when we come back on Retake. We're taking that very short break. Remember to keep tweeting, talk to us. How do you get to understand, learn, define, and satisfy your partner's love languages? Do you feel that those 5 that we have talked about, do they take care of your needs too? The number to text is 22840. And then follow us on our social media platforms. I keep on saying that at KTN_Life_ on both Twitter and Instagram, and KTN Life and Style on Facebook. See you shortly when we join the ladies on Retake.
Making assumptions is what brings all the problems. So if she tells you something or he tells you something, try and follow through with what they want.
Support each other, however the situation is.
Okay.
Whether they are getting it or not getting it, just support the person. They will catch up faster if they support.